Hello students, I am Dr. Shrikant Bause, Assistant Professor at Department of Advanced Management Studies, GS College of Commerce, Wardha. In the earlier videos, we have seen the combination of risk-free assets and risky assets. In this video, we are going to study one of the most important thing, that is capital allocation line. This capital allocation line is already also known as the CML, that is capital market line. So do not get confused between these two. These are nothing but the same. These names are used interchangeably. So when we are constructing a portfolio, at that time how to choose between a risky asset and the risk free asset. So when you are investing into the stock, equity or bond of any company, at that time there is a significant risk associated with it. Whereas when you are investing into the treasury bonds of Reserve Bank of India or the treasury bonds which are issued by the US Federal Reserve, these are the bonds issued by the sovereign countries. So the risk associated with these bonds is considered as the negligible and risk free, because the risk of default by the government is extremely low. Remember, I am using the words negligible risk. Risk of default is extremely low. I am not saying that these are the risk free, 100% risk free instruments. Remember, because any country can become bankrupt at any moment of time. It may be due to the war between two countries, or even the natural calamities, or even the pandemics which we have seen in last 6 to 8 months. So this is the simple concept of risk free asset and the risky asset. Now, how to choose between risky and risk-free assets? You have to first decide your risk appetite. How much risk you want to take for construction of your portfolio. Your portfolio may be risky portfolio. Your portfolio may be a balanced one, or your portfolio may be extremely defensive or conservative. So the optimal portfolio is constructed by the investors with the combination of risky assets and risk free assets. In the risky assets, there will be the stocks of different sectors like banking stocks, then automobile stocks, infrastructure stocks, etc. In the risk-free assets, we are having only one asset which is considered widely as risk-free assets, that is treasury bond. Here, if you want to minimize the risk and become conservative, you will invest into the defensive sector stocks like FMCG, like pharma, like healthcare, IT, etc. Because these conservative and defensive stocks are not interest rate sensitive. So when you are making a combination of risky assets plus risk free assets, it improves the risk and return characteristics and leads to better trade off. Imagine that you are investing into the stocks of 5 or 6 sectors of different nature, and you are investing into simultaneously risk-free assets, that is treasury bonds. If the stocks goes up at that time, the treasury bond will be giving you the decent returns, and even if the stocks goes down, the risk-free return on the treasury bonds will be same. So it will be a kind of balanced portfolio which will give you a consistent decent returns. Whereas if you are investing only into the risky assets, and if the pandemic like COVID-19 strikes into the market, at that time your portfolio will witness a great drawdown. Your portfolio of 10 rupees can become even 1 or 2 rupees, because you have invested completely into the risky assets. So when you are making a combination of risky assets plus risk-free assets, your portfolio is termed as the optimal portfolio. So with respect to your risk appetite, the investor can invest into the stocks and bonds of the company and the treasury. Here comes the concept of capital allocation line, that how will you allocate your money into risky assets and the risk-free assets. This graph gives you an idea that how your expected return and how the risk associated with it can be at certain considerably, not 100%. This is the x-axis on which there is a portfolio standard deviation, which means risk. Risk means uncertainty, and on the y-axis we are having portfolio expected return, that how much your portfolio is going to yield. So from here the capital allocation line starts, and here the risk-free atmosphere will be there. Whenever this slope goes down, this portion is called as the risk-free. Then here, as soon as the line goes up, your portfolio standard deviation is going on increasing. When the standard deviation is increasing, when the variance and covariance are increasing, at the same time your risk also increasing, and when these are decreasing, at that time your risk is also decreasing. So here is the slope, more is the slope, so less is the risk, and high is the slope, high is the risk. This is the MVE factor, that is market value of equity. When you are investing your investment in risk-free and risky assets, this is the point where you will get the maximum return on your equity with the moderate calculated risk. So this is the capital allocation line, and this is the efficient frontier, where we have seen that when we are increasing the risk, at that time your expected return is increasing, but high risk will also lead to high return. But in anticipation of high return, you should not invest into highly risky assets, because it may also lead to free fall and draw down your portfolio. So this is the simple diagram of portfolio expected return, portfolio standard deviation, and this is the capital market line. This is its slope, below which we are having the risk-free returns. This is the point where we will be having the highest expected return on the portfolio. So how to allocate your funds? If you do not want to take risk, you should invest where there will be a risk-free return. If you want high risk, high return, you should invest somewhere here. Then varying expected risk and return levels, this will happen with respect to the time. Here we will see that how the ER means expected return of portfolio will be calculated. So it is calculated with the formula expected return of risk-free assets multiplied by weight of risk-free asset plus expected return of risky assets multiplied by 1 minus weight of risk-free asset. Now we know expected rate of return, we know risky assets. Now what is weightage? Weightage means suppose you are having 10,000 rupees portfolio and you have invested 1,000 rupees in risky assets. So 1,000 rupees of 10,000 is the 10%. So weightage is the 10%. This is called as the weightage of risky assets. If you are investing 90% into treasury bond, at that time your risk will be negligible and your weightage will be 90%. So this is the simple formula. Then risk of portfolio is equal to weight of risky asset multiplied by standard deviation of risky asset. How much risk is associated if we want to calculate of our portfolio? So risk of portfolio, weight of risky asset multiplied by standard deviation of risky asset. For simplicity, I have given you a simple example. Let us try it. If the treasury bill is giving a 3% return, 3% return, then we are talking about a treasury bill, there will be risk-free return because they are issued by the government. Then if there is a stock which is having the expected return of 10%, the standard deviation of treasury bill will be 0. Why? Because the treasury bill will be giving a risk-free return because there is extremely negligible risk of default. So standard deviation of treasury bill, risk will be 0 in the treasury bill. Then standard deviation of stock, consider it is as 20%. Now 100% allocation to treasury bill is equal to 3% return. As we have seen here that the risk-free return treasury bills are yielding. If you are investing 10,000 rupees in treasury bill, you are bound to get 3% return over it and risk of default is almost 0. And here we are saying that 100% allocation to treasury bill, 3% return, standard deviation will be 0. 100% allocation to stock. When you are buying 10,000 rupees stock, only stock, 100% allocation to stock, your expected return is 10%, but the portfolio risk will be 20% as the standard deviation of stock is 20%. Got it? If investor allocates 25% to treasury bill, means out of 10,000 rupees, if investor is buying treasury bills of 25% means 2,500 rupees and 75% to stock, 7,500 rupees in stock. We have allocated funds in two instruments. First one, 25%, that is 2,500 rupees in treasury bill, and 75%, that is 7,500 in the stock. So expected return on portfolio is equal to 3% multiplied by 25% plus 10% multiplied by 75%. 3% is the risk-free return. You have invested 25% in the treasury bill, 3% return multiplied by 25% allocation plus 10% your expected return multiplied by 75% weightage. So it will simply become 0.75%, 3 multiplied by 25%, 0.75% plus 7.5%, 10 multiplied by 75% is equal to, we will sum it, 8.25%. So risk of portfolio will be 75% multiplied by 20% is equal to 50%. So the slope of CAL measures trade-off between risk and return. How much risk you are taking and how much is your expected return, how much you are return getting. Higher slope is equal to higher expected return in exchange of taking more risk. If you are taking more risk, at that time you will get high return. High risk, high return. This is known as Sharpe ratio. This concept is known as Sharpe ratio. The calculation of this concept, the calculation of this risk is popularly known as Sharpe ratio because this ratio is proposed by Mr. William Sharpe. So on his surname, the name is given, that is Sharpe ratio. So this is the simple calculation of expected rate of return with the risk. So this is the capital allocation lines diagram and this is the construction of portfolio. Thank you.